Mr. Leo, are you there?
I am here.
He's from ChooseWhat.com. Okay, so we want you to just tell our audience all about Choose What. Now, keep in mind you're speaking to it's adults that's on the that's listening in and young people. So we have a range, but our focus is to promote and ignite the entrepreneurial spirit in young people. So please tell us all about Choose What.
ChooseWhat.com is a website that we built. We launched the site about 2 years ago, and the purpose of the site is to guide entrepreneurs through the process of starting a business. So when I say that, to guide them through the process of starting a business, what we want to do is empower people who have a great idea, or if they have a passion to do something and they really want to make that idea into an actual business. We've taken all the steps that you needed to complete in order to create a foundation so that you can build on that idea and make it a growing business and have your entity set up and get all the pieces together. So we have a guide on our site that basically walks you through, I believe we're up to 27 steps. We try to be detailed about it, starting at the very beginning with naming your business and walking through getting your phone number and getting your LLC set up and getting your employee ID number, bank account, insurance, then also getting the tools that you need, like an online backup service for your data or email marketing tools, all of those components. And we really go through and try to make it easy for anyone to understand how the importance of these things and how to accomplish them. And then also in cases where there are various different vendors who might be offering services, we actually have gone through and tested out the various services, put together comparison charts, reviews, everything you need to know about those things to take advantage of them, to make it easier to get your business set up. We have a guide on our site that basically walks you through, I believe we're up to 27 steps. We try to be detailed about it, starting at the very beginning with naming your business and walking through getting your phone number and getting your LLC set up and getting your employee ID number, bank account, insurance, then also getting the tools that you need, like an online backup service for your data or email marketing tools, all of those components. And we really go through and try to make it easy for anyone to understand how the importance of these things and how to accomplish them. And then also in cases where there are various different vendors who might be offering services, we actually have gone through and tested out the various services, put together comparison charts, reviews, everything you need to know about those things to take advantage of them, to make it easier to get your business set up.
Okay, great. So what you're saying is that you've gone through, we still need to do our due diligence, the young entrepreneurs who's going to be starting out, but what you're saying is that you've gone through and taken a lot of the guesswork out of the process of getting started?
Yeah, I've been involved in a number of startups over the course of my career. I got started in entrepreneurship when I was pretty young, and one of the things that I found is when you start a business, your passion or what you think you're going to do, your business model is going to be built on, maybe if you're going to open a restaurant, or if you're going to make a web business with a website, or if you're going to build chairs, or whatever it is that you're going to do. There's that component of your business, but what you find when you start building a business is that most of the time that you spend is going to be on things that really don't have anything to do with that. It's on getting your business set up. It's maintaining your books. It's setting up processes to run your business. It's marketing your business. It's getting business cards and printing flyers and those kinds of things. And so there's a lot of different tools out there that are ever changing, but getting better all the time and more cost effective. But there's so much information out there, and it's really hard for an entrepreneur that doesn't have an assistant or a staff to go through all of that. And so we've really boiled it down to the nuts and bolts of what you need to build your foundation of your business and build it right, so that as you have success, it can scale with you and you can continue to grow and not be encumbered by the difficulties of making all these decisions. There's that component of your business, but what you find when you start building a business is that most of the time that you spend is going to be on things that really don't have anything to do with that. It's on getting your business set up. It's maintaining your books. It's setting up processes to run your business. It's marketing your business. It's getting business cards and printing flyers and those kinds of things. And so there's a lot of different tools out there that are ever changing, but getting better all the time and more cost effective. But there's so much information out there, and it's really hard for an entrepreneur that doesn't have an assistant or a staff to go through all of that. And so we've really boiled it down to the nuts and bolts of what you need to build your foundation of your business and build it right, so that as you have success, it can scale with you and you can continue to grow and not be encumbered by the difficulties of making all these decisions.
Okay. All right. So, so can you tell us what are the most essential things needed to start a business? Because you know what I'm saying, Veronica? It sounds like a lot.
It definitely is. It's difficult because especially when you don't have any mentors, you don't have a strong foundation around you to learn. You know, right now the internet is so big and social media is so big. I think this is just a great tool just to begin the foundation. So I guess one of my questions is I know I've been in a situation similar to this where, you know, I didn't know what to do, where to go. So what gave you the inspiration to start something like that? Was it from your past experiences, or did you see others struggling to, you know, find their way? It definitely is. It's difficult because especially when you don't have any mentors, you don't have a strong foundation around you to learn. You know, right now the internet is so big and social media is so big. I think this is just a great tool just to begin the foundation. So I guess one of my questions is I know I've been in a situation similar to this where, you know, I didn't know what to do, where to go. So what gave you the inspiration to start something like that? Was it from your past experiences, or did you see others struggling to, you know, find their way?
It was all about maintaining the books and filing taxes and you know, dealing with hiring issues and, you know, staying current on all the, you know, project management systems and managing cash flow and all those things. And they're the same in every company. And since then, I've been involved in, you know, a few other startups, and I started this company, which we actually started the business 5 years ago. Choose What we launched 2 years ago. We launched a number of smaller sites like faxcompare.com and emailmarketingoptions.com, which is where we started gathering information on these different business tools.
Right.
And anyway, so over that time, I've really just seen the same cycle of things that every business needs to do come up over and over and over again. And I've seen how businesses struggle with that because, one, they don't know what things they need to be worrying about or doing. And two, once they identify them, there's so much, it's so difficult to prioritize, to make the time to figure out what to get, what services should I pay for, those kinds of things. And you don't want to make the wrong decision, but you also, you know, you need to make a decision, because the worst thing that can happen is just to not do anything about it and just keep going forward until it becomes a bigger problem. And oftentimes, if you wait that long, those problems become so great they're exponentially more difficult to solve later. So anyway, I've kind of seen this over and over again, and I just it sort of amazed me when we first got started with this business. It was really just because the fact that we noticed that there's all kinds of good comparison information and information similar to this for consumer products. There's Consumer Reports, and there's CNET, and there is, you know, even if you're on Amazon or Best Buy, they have tons of comparison information. But when it comes to business services, there's very little information. So entrepreneurs depend on this stuff. They need this information. They need these tools. And so I think it's at least as important for them to get the same quality of information that a consumer can have when they're buying a TV.
Okay, so you have on your site a checklist of things that people need to get started. But what I'm trying to get at is, what are the is it like a top list of essential things that's needed? Because when you go onto your site and see that checklist, it looks very long.
Yeah, no, I know, and we try to put it in order to make it, you know, it becomes less of a priority as you go down the list. But it's kind of as you go through with your business. I kind of look at getting a bank account as being sort of the goal, because if you want to be able to be in business, you're going to have to spend money, and you're going to hopefully want to make some money, and you need a place you can put that. You need to be able to deposit, you need to spend from it. And that's how you're able to record things for, if you want to deduct things for when you're filing your taxes and those sort of things. So you need to get a bank account. And so a bank account is on this list at number 9, but it's on there because you need some version of everything above that in order to get a bank account, because you can't get a business bank account unless you have an employee ID number. And to get when you get an employee ID number, you could get one just on your person on a Social Security number, but that's not recommended. We suggest, and most people would, that you should get at least an LLC or something like that. Every state has its own filing fee, but in Texas it's only a couple $100s, and that gives you some separation so that the business is its own entity, so you have some liability protection. And so we recommend getting an LLC. And if you're going to get an LLC, and the EIN, they're going to want you to put down some contact information and things like that. So you're going to have a name for your business. You're going to have a phone number for your business, a fax number for your business, and you're going to want to have an email address. And you have to have a mailing address. And so you could just use your personal stuff for all these things, but you're probably quickly going to change that to a business, to things that are dedicated for the business. So we just suggest going ahead and getting a business email account and getting a business mailing address, which you can do these things really inexpensively. You don't have to go and get like an office space to have a business mailing address. You can use like a pack mail address. You can't use a USPS, post office box, because they won't accept that. But you can use for $40 a quarter, you can get a pack mail mailing address and use that for your business mailing address, and that will be good for you forever if you wanted to. Same thing with a dedicated phone number. You can get that through like a virtual PBX service. Fax numbers, or you can get them as cheap as like $4 a month. So $4 or $5 a month. So we have the really cost-effective ways of accomplishing these things and setting them up so that they will stay with your business forever and really be functional with you as you grow. So to your question is, what's the most important thing? You really need to have a bank account. You can't have a business unless you have a bank account. You have to, if you operate very long commingling your personal bank account with your business bank account, you're heading towards disaster, because you're going to have to file your taxes at some point, and you're going to want to be able to list out your business expenses and revenues in an easy way. And if that's mixed in with all your personal charges, it's going to take you forever to gather that information. So it's much, much easier just to set up a business bank account. It typically doesn't cost anything to or it's minimal to have a separate checking account, and just have that to be able to operate. So you can have expenses run through that account, and then you can also have people write a check to your business, and you can deposit it in your business bank account.
All right, and that's good, because everybody likes those checks to be written, so yeah. Everybody gets it.
Yes.
Bank account.
I said the bank account and it's a satisfying thing to know that, to get your big business checks and get that book and be like, man, I'm in business now. I've got my big checks.
Well, you know what? It seems to me, I'm looking at the website now. It just seems like a one-stop shop to how to start a business. I think this is really excellent. What's been some of the feedback you've gotten back from the website? Have you gotten any testimonials or any type of feedback on how it has helped somebody or helped a company start their business?
We've had a lot of positive feedback, particularly on our comparisons. We have, if you go into the various sections of like in the guide where you see all the steps, a number of them will eventually lead you to comparisons. But if you also go up to the top navigation, you'll see where it says compare business products, and you'll see a list of different sections where we have full comparisons. And we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback, because it's so difficult. There are all these really great tools out there now that technology has given us, and these tools make it possible for a person on a very limited budget to be able to start a business and have the presence of a Fortune 500 business, of a huge company, for very little money, because these services, these cloud services that you hear about on TV all the time, what they do is they set up their business and spend all the money to build a great tool, and then you just can pay a small monthly fee to be able to get access to all of that. But the tricky thing is all these tools are so new, and the companies have done what I think is a poor job of really defining their categories of what kind of service they are. So it's really hard to understand what they are. So what we do is we find all the companies that are in a particular area, and try to use simple language to explain how they work, and how they would work for you, and then compare them on an apples-to-apples basis, so you can really see what the differences between the products are quickly, so you can pick one. I mean, a good example of that is, we have a comparison of the top companies that provide online backup services. And online backup services, the companies that we have in that section are Carbonite, iDrive, SugarSync, Mozy, Elephant Drive, and Backblaze. And those companies, we just put a simple grid out there. We have detailed reviews on everything if you want to go into detail. But people don't, if you don't, a lot of people are just afraid to pick one because of the fact that they don't want to get the wrong one because it's very important to back up their data. But right. What happens is if you don't pick one and you don't back up your data, and then all of a sudden your computer gets a virus, or it gets stolen, or something like that happens. These days your business lives on your computer, so if you don't pick one of these and move forward, you're really putting yourself at great risk. And so right. we've tried to make it so that you can take that next step really quickly, and not spend time really trying to worry too much about which of the services are. You can trust that we have done the research for you. We've tested these things out. We wouldn't put something on here if it wasn't worthy of being considered as an option. And then you can just go through and look at the different pricing packages and what those, how they offer, the different storage options and things like that, and just decide which one you want and sign up for it and go forward.
This is really good information, and I know some people may not understand the importance of what you're talking about, but trust, I understand what you're saying, and this stuff is really important for people to make use of, because it will save you a lot of headache in the long run. Mm-hmm. In the long run, so it's really good. So I want to switch it up a little bit. Why should people take the leap and just go for it in business? Like, what are some of? I'm sorry. That's not the question I wanted to ask. I get a little bit ahead of myself. Sorry. I wanted to say, what would you say to people who have a great business idea but think starting a business is scary or too difficult to do?
Well, that's kind of one of the things that I was talking about before, about what technology has done for us. And starting a business today is easier and less expensive than it ever has been. The government is 100% behind the supporting the idea of new businesses starting. They even have the initiative called Startup America. That's their goal is to support people to start up businesses. And so they've tried to do things on their end to make it easier for registering your business. You can do everything electronically and get it all done easily, simply. And then there's all these tools that I was mentioning before. You don't have to have a venture capital firm that gives you millions of dollars to start a company. You don't need to have a lot of money. You just need to have a passion and an idea and some expertise in an area. And if you have those things, you can use Choose What to help kind of get your ducks in a row about how to get all your pieces in place. Essentially, when they're trying to figure out how to start a business, I think the biggest thing that people have as a kind of stands in their way is that they don't know what to do first. I mean, I talk to people all the time. I have a lot of different friends, people that I know socially, and they will oftentimes take me to lunch and say, Leo, I really want to start a business. I've got this great idea, but I just don't know what to do. And really, once you really believe that you've got a good idea that you want to try it out, you need to take that leap. You need to jump over that fence and just get right in there and just pick a name. Just pick a domain name. Go register a domain name and put down, stick down your flag and say, I'm here, I'm going to start a business, and get going with it, because that's the only way that you're going to really going to get any momentum. You've got to create the business. A business is like it's kind of like a person. A business has its own, a government-issued identification number, like a social security number. It has its own phone number. It has its own presence. It's got a social media presence. It has its own communication tools. And when you start to build that and put a little life in your business, then you can start really seeing the excitement that comes from that. And it's just not expensive. So if you really believe in your idea and your concept, go ahead and start putting some pieces together and start building and bringing that business to life. And if at some point you get too scared and you feel like backing out, then you at least know you kind of put your toe in the water and gave it a shot. But I think it's a waste not to at least get out there and and give it a shot and see what it looks like on the entrepreneurial side.
There you go. That's right. You can't be scared. You got to go out there and do it. But look, Veronica, tell her to keep listening to the show, because we have some stories we can tell about to try to avoid some of the painful money mistakes in the long run. So we're going to get to that in some future shows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We learn from our mistakes.
That's right. So thank you so much, Leo. Listen, this is really good information. Can you tell everybody we have a couple more questions for you, but just let everybody know where they can go to find out more information.
ChooseWhat.com is where all this information is held. It's ChooseWhat, ChooseWhat.com, as in what to choose. And everything about our company is on that website. One of the things we also encourage people to do is, if you have a question that you don't see the answer to on the site, or something that is just relates to small business, or something that you noticed, just post the question in our forum, and we have a community of users that are regularly posting there. And furthermore, we have our own research team that goes into every forum question that's posted, and we go and research the answer for you and post the answer to your question.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo.
Sure.
Thank you so much. And then last before you go, you have any final words or tips to help budding entrepreneurs out right now?
I would say the thing I would typically give budding entrepreneurs, the advice I would typically give is, make sure that you're always learning and always looking for your passion. If you constantly immerse yourself in learning opportunities and keep an eye out for something that excites you, not just for the money, but because you're driven by the concept, you'll be successful. Those are the two things. Find your passion and keep learning.
Okay, and real quick,
awesome.
Does your site have anything about business plans? I just thought about that.
That's one thing that we don't have is business plan software tools. There's one tool I'd recommend called bplans, bplans.com. They have good business plans, and we didn't put that on there only because of the fact that the way we were looking at this is we wanted people we're helping people who they've already done their plan, they've decided to take the step and start their business. But it's something that we actually considered and are considering adding to the site. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it on there in the coming months.
Okay, great. All right, thank you so much, Leo. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Sure, thank you.